Hello there, people of the internet. I'm back with another video. It's been a while since I put out a video, so I figured I would update you all on the process of my van build, which is right there. About 4 months ago, I put a video out on my bed lift system. Since then, I've completely reconstructed and re-engineered it the way it works and the way that it's set up. So I'm going to show you what I've done differently, and I'm also going to show you what else I've done on the van. I've come quite a ways with the progress on the framing, and I'm about 95% done with that. So I wanted to show you where I'm at and what I've done to make this van the way it is right now. So let's get started. Alright, so if you haven't seen my previous video, you can click the link over there or down in the description below and watch that video first, because I go into pretty serious depth about how I made that work, and this one follows a very similar procedure, just done differently. Oh, and let me say, I want to thank everyone for the support, the likes and the comments and the subscribers I've received since I started this channel about 5-6 months ago. My bed lift video that I posted 4 months ago has like 13,000 views and a bunch of comments and questions, and thank you so much for everything. I hope the videos I release do help you out. So with that being said, once again, thank you very, very much. So what we have in here is extruded aluminum. This particular aluminum is from a company called Parco, and this is 15 series all throughout the van mostly. There is some 1530 series up front. All of this stuff is just cut with an aluminum saw, and it is attached via corner brackets and these button head bolts. So what I did since my last bed lift video is I completely removed the old system, and then I started out in here by framing this storage cabinet area. Now, a lot of you don't know this because I haven't done a video on it yet, and it's been hidden in my previous videos, but this battery box, this power box, was the very first thing I put inside the van after the flooring and the insulation and all that stuff. This was the first structure I built in here for all my batteries, my solar, and we can get into that another time. Perhaps I will do a video on this sometime, but just to get that out of the way, I started from this box and I built this storage cabinet, which is going to be a storage cabinet eventually. From this, I built this framing for the fridge and for the slide-out composting toilet. So from the back of the van to this point is the same distance as the back of the van on this side to this point. The next thing I went ahead and did was I started on this one side, and I came out here and I built the framing in the back, also attached to the battery box. I'm gonna come down here so you can get a little better idea. So I added this framing and built this all the way up, added some structural framing. Some of this stuff is bolted to the walls, not all of it is yet, but it will be at some point. And then what I did is I copied the same thing I did over there to this side and built the framing all the way up. And as you can see on this side, this one is in the wall there. It's not going anywhere. And once you get all this together, it's a big box and it's not going to go anywhere anyways. So once I had those pieces configured, then I started thinking about the bed lift again. So if you haven't seen my previous video, go check it out in the link so you can see how I originally did it. And the reason why I did it that way originally was because I watched some other people do it the same way that I copied them from. And so now I'm doing it completely differently, and I haven't seen any video of someone doing it the way I'm doing it now. Originally, what I had on here was a unistrut U channel going across here, and then I had this channel where the linear bearing slides up and down. I had this piece mounted from the U channel up here and bolted up into here, and then I had another one over here that went up and bolted into here. So instead of the linear actuator being this way, it was over here going this way. And the same exact thing was on this side, and I did the same thing that I'm doing on this side. So
with that being said,
the reason why I changed it is because I wasn't happy with where the 15... Okay, so my GoPro's having problems. I'm gonna try to get this done. But the reason why I changed the way that I have this set up is because I wasn't very happy with the channels where the bearings are gonna ride being right here. I wasn't sure how I was gonna frame around it. It only went up to this height. I thought I could just do it better. So that's basically it. I thought I could do it better, and this is definitely better. So what I've done now is removed all that stuff, built the framing as I had explained. The bed is definitely narrower now. It is only about 48 inches wide, which is a vintage queen or something in Europe, which is completely fine with me. You could still fit 2 people on it. It's a little snugger, but nothing wrong with that. So I ended up moving the channel here. This is the linear bearing It slides up and down. This is the linear actuator, which moves this up and down. And I've done it on all sides. Moved the channel from here to here. Linear bearing, linear actuator. And the nice thing about this is I'm going to show you in a moment, right down here, if possible. The bottom of the linear bearing is now about 6 inches or so off of the wood. Previously I had a block of wood glued and screwed to the subfloor, and then this little knob on the bottom of the actuator coming out here went into a hole in the wood. So now I'm gaining 6 inches in height to get the bed closer to the ceiling, and this bracket I put together allows for me to adjust how high I want the actuator to be. So I can go in there and unbolt that bracket and then move this linear actuator up higher or lower if I want to for adjustability reasons. For example, this side is all the way up, the actuator is powered all the way up, the stroke's completely out, but as you can see it's not quite meeting the top of the channel here. The reason being is I haven't adjusted it yet. That actuator actually went out. Well, it didn't go out, it just stopped functioning 100%. So I purchased a new one, and I took the one that wasn't working properly out, and I shot a video of what the inside of that looks like yesterday, which I'll throw in this video here at the end, or right now, I don't know. So since it wasn't working to its full ability, I put this new one in, and I just haven't adjusted it yet. But what I'll do is I'll go down here, and that's the bottom of the actuator. I'll unbolt this bolt here, connect it to this piece, and I can just slide this up and down the channel and make adjustments. So that's a really nice added feature to the way I've done this now compared to the way I've done it before. So yeah, that basically covers the new bed lift. Let me show you what it looks like going up and down. I'll probably discuss some more things about it that I think about in the meantime. Whoops, I forgot to do something. I'm going to continue with the bed going down. There you have it, folks. Now the bed is down. So a couple things I want to mention when the bed is down is now that the bed is 6 inches higher, so that it can come closer to the ceiling just for more headroom and less wasted space. The bed is also higher when it's down. So there's going to be a 6-inch mattress on here, which is going to make it even taller. Getting up there is not going to be that easy. So that is why I built this little area here, which is a platform to stand on, like so, and get yourself up on the bed, like so. So now I'm up here and I'm sitting on the railing. My head's pretty close to the ceiling. With a 6-inch mattress on here, you know, you're gonna be able to sleep, and that's about it. But I don't care. I'm just sleeping on the bed, and then I lift it, and then I have a couch underneath the bed. So that's the system here. Show you. So here's another shot of the linear actuator. I'm sorry, of the channel that the linear bearing rides up and down on. It stops about here, goes up to about here, and just like my previous video, same idea all the way around. And there you have it. This is this one. That's hard to see. There's a lot of aluminum in the way, and having it this way versus the way in the previous attempt, I'll be able to frame out things a lot better. No windows are going here, just more insulation. I've decided not to put any windows in the back. I have 2 back windows in the doors. So now I'll be able to frame this easily, or a lot easier, I should say. Okay, let me put the bed back up, and we'll move on to the next thing. And there you have it. The bed's back up. So I highly recommend that you go and watch my video, my first video in my channel about the bed lift. But in case you don't remember things from it, basically I have the linear actuators. Those are things that unscrew and go all the way up to lift this thing. I have the back 2 on one switch, and I have the front 2 on one switch. And those switches are right here. And the reason that I did that was because I want to be able to adjust the bed, lower the back a couple inches from the front, or lower the front a couple inches from the back. I did use that a couple times while sleeping on this bed frame, so it does come in handy. And that's one other thing I wanted to mention. So I was gone for 2 months, the previous bed lift system, traveling to the Midwest, and out to the East Coast, and I slept on this bed for 60 days straight with zero issues, super comfortable, loved it, wouldn't change it for anything now that I've used it. And every day, woke up in the morning and I raised the bed up, could sit on this bench, and every night I lowered the bed down, could sleep on the bed. No problem whatsoever, so I'm sticking with it. That was kind of a trial attempt at what this bed lift system can do, and I'm happy with it. So now I am going to keep using it, and that's why I built this one. Alrighty folks, so my camera keeps acting really dumb trying to go forward. Now that I've showed you the bed lift system, the version 2 of the old bed lift system in a Ram Promaster, let me show you what else I've been in the van. And I'm going to start here in the front, and this is a swivel seat put on a long time ago. I have a video about that. But since then I've done quite a bit more. Obviously I've done all the framing that I was talking about. And so let's start with the kitchen galley. Here what we have is, this is my kitchen area by the window. I have a sink, framing, all done, mostly. I have a little bit more framing to do here in this area, which I'm working on tonight. Underneath the sink, I have a 6.5 gallon IsoTemp hot water heater, which heats from the engine's cooling system and AC power, which is really awesome. I'm excited to get that running in the next couple weeks. And then, of course, above this, we have the sink. This is a Ruvati, I think it's a 17 by 15 inch sink, and it's quite deep. I think maybe 10 inches or so. Very nice sink. Comes with this butcher block cover, which isn't sitting very nicely at the moment. Okay, and then this is a Kohler industrial commercial faucet, the spray mode and a regular stream mode. Came with the soap dispenser. And then I have an AccuView UV water filter system that's going to go in underneath the sink here with another drinking water tap here. We're gonna have some straight up counter space here. We're gonna do some drawers here. I need to hide the water tank over here. I decided to extend the counter out like this to make more room under there for cabinets. So I'm gonna figure out what I'm gonna do here, and you'll get updated on that in a future video. Moving to my left, to the passenger side of the van, we have a Furrion propane 3-burner stove with oven. This thing lifts up like that to access your burners and acts as a splash guard, I guess, if that's what you call it. And then we have an oven. This model is the 21-inch stove oven version. We got an oven. It's going to be powered off that little 5-pound propane tank underneath. We'll have some more storage under here. Moving down, I created this little cubby for storage. It's likely going to be a pantry, pull-out pantry for spices and whatnot. Let's move over to the right, which is the driver's side. My right, the driver's side. I have to figure out a way to keep this in place yet, but I built this sliding system for my Nature's Head composting toilet. So when you're ready to do your business, you can just pull this baby out one-handed. Pulls all the way out to the aisle, and then you have a little area to sit down and enjoy yourself. Something on the lens here. And when you're done, push it back in. Right now I have this bungee on here to keep it from coming out on me. And yes, it's going to have a hose that vents everything outside. I need to get to that point. All right, up here, actually, we're going to have another drawer here for toiletry items, most likely. Above that, we have a isotherm fridge and freezer combo. I really like this fridge so far. I haven't used it all that much, but this is what it looks like. The reason I got this one is due to the size of the freezer. It's got a full freezer in there. You can put a frozen pizza in here, take it out, put it in a preheated oven, wait 15 minutes, and have a frozen pizza in my van. So that's that. It's got a little tray here for other items like vegetables. So I talked about this earlier in the video. This is where I started my framing in the van, and this is going to be drawers, cabinets, I'm not quite sure yet, for clothes and other items I need to store in here. And above this area here is going to be a recessed area where all my controls are for my electrical system, my heater, light switches, and all of that kind of stuff. Okay, coming down here is the Webasto Airtop Evo 40. I actually put this unit in when I was in Wisconsin because it was starting to get too cold and I needed to be warm in here, so I installed this there. They are expensive, but let me tell you, this thing is absolutely amazing. It will heat this van up, no problem. Really cold temperatures all night long, and this is the thermostat dial for it. Right now it's set at 46 degrees, and it's 61 out here, so no need to run it. But this thing always runs unless you shut the power off to it. It just blows a slight bit of air out, because then when it needs to kick on, it's ready to go, and it fires up and just goes. All right, moving to the back. I put this yellow towel here as a reminder not to hit my head, because this is what it looks like when I'm walking around in here. Okay, over to the passenger side rear. This is my power bank system I mentioned earlier. If anybody wants to know how I put this together, I can always create a video based on the way it looks now and explain things. Otherwise, go check out the guy on YouTube, Explorist Life. If you're doing any sort of searching on YouTube for electrical work, you'll find his videos. He's located in Steamboat, Colorado. I'm in Denver. Just saying. I watched his videos and his schematics. That's how I was able to put this one together. This one is based off of his Airstream install he did for somebody. And I have 400 amp hours of Born lithium batteries here. You know, all the basic things. You can find out more later. If you really want me to, I will explain. So after we go under the bed here, there's going to be a bench here eventually, right here. I'm just sitting on the edge right now. Actually, let me show you something. All right, I threw this piece of wood up here just temporarily so I can sit down here comfortably and all the way back. So this is going to be my bench right here. I'll be able to chill, relax, you know, this way. Enjoy a nice time out in the wilderness away from all this traffic, all this noise. There's the outside of the van. So on this side, I have a 28-gallon over the wheel well water tank. Up here, I have some storage areas that obviously they go up and down with the bed lift. So if the bed's down, it might be difficult to get in here, but I don't plan on storing anything in here that I'm going to need very often when the bed is down. It's mostly going to be for things when the bed is up. For example, this latch here. Oh man, unloosen that latch. What we have here is this frame drops down just like so. And now you have this frame that dropped down, and I'm going to mount a computer monitor on that. So I can sit back here and relax and watch whatever I want to watch, play video games, whatever you want to do. And then if I'm working, because I am a computer dude, then I can just grab the monitor and slide this whole unit close to me, just like that. And now the monitor is much closer, right here. And when I'm done and I need to go to sleep, I can push the monitor back. It's hard to do with one hand. Push this back, lock it back up, and then the bed will go down all the way to this. That's pretty cool. I just started working on that. I have a lot of work to do on it, but I think up in this cabinet area up top, I'm going to mount some speakers, one over there, and I'll have some electronic components that will manage my workstation here. All the plumbing and everything for the water is going to be done inside of this box here, likely on top of the water tank. That way I have access to all this room for more storage. And then this will just be a flat top workstation as well to put things on or whatever. Maybe I'll come up with something cool to do with that too. But then when you come out to the outside, I'm going to have some 50-inch drawer sliders so that this area right here between the water tank and this framing, I can slide this out all the way out here. I have my fishing poles and fishing gear and other camping gear in here, my hammock, those sorts of things can go in there. Push it back in and it's hidden away, and that'll be my mini garage. So thanks for watching, folks. That's where I'm at with the van build. I took some time off to go back to the Midwest, and now I've been back for a couple months, and this is what I've gotten done. Next up is to finish the framing, which will be done in a week or two. Flooring will go in after that, drawers, cabinets, all of that. Then of course paneling, ceiling, lights, all that's coming. I'll make videos for some of that stuff. I'm not the best guy at making videos, but I'm trying. So let me know if you have any questions. Please like, subscribe, and all that stuff. Hit the bell button if you want to be notified when I put out a new video every year and a half. You'll be the first to know. Yep, thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one. Okay, I'm back in the garage, guys. This is one of the linear actuators. It still works and functions. It's just, I've got an issue with it. And I'm just going to keep this. I'm going to try to fix it completely at some point, and I'll just have it here as a backup in case I ever need to replace one. To take this thing apart, it requires the loosening of this screw. There's one on each side, and this screw. And then you have to remove this screw right there and remove this screw right there. I'm going to remove those screws, and then I'll show you what's next. All right, so I've removed all the screws and loosened these two. that I talked about on both sides. I don't have a tripod handy, so this is going to be hard to get out, possibly without that. Let me see. Okay, I got it broken loose. So this casing here will just slide up. Okay. What you have in here is you have, okay, so we have these wires, and these wires run all the way up. And then if I flip this over, I'll show you. Right here is a switch. And I believe this plastic piece here comes down and hits that switch and shuts the motor off. So if I slide the casing all the way off, you will see, let me flip this over again, if I can. It's kind of difficult to flip over, but you will see that there is these wires I mentioned, and they run all the way up to the top, just like so. And then up on the top here is another switch right there. So the reason why my actuator keeps spinning when it gets to the top is because this switch is not being activated with this. So I need to spend time to make sure I get this wire in the right position so that when this ends up here, it will activate that switch and shut off the motor. And basically, the way these work, this is really hard to do with one hand. There is a screw, this thing, or there's a motor that turns that big old metal screw in there, and then it spins this up and down like so, and then it goes back up, and that's all there's to it, really. Now I don't know if I'll be able to get this working eventually or not, but I'm going to try. It has something to do with this not being in alignment to hit that switch. So that's basically it. That's what a linear actuator looks like, and that is how it functions. These are $50 on Amazon. They're out of stock. The one I bought last week was in stock, but it was used on Amazon. Came in fine condition. So you might have to look at, is there something on the lens? There is. So you might have to look at other options, other buying options on Amazon if you're looking to get this 26-inch stroke